Good evening. Welcome to Hibiscus Society News, shooting the shit. I'm Ben Hawk, and wow, this is we got a good show for you tonight. So we're gonna be talking about some misappropriation of funds. If you donated to the Redacted Caucus of the Libertarian Party, they did their FEC filing, and we did some basic fucking math with a calculator, and there's some things that don't add up. We've got some people who questioned her about it. We've got screenshots of the documents. We've got a calculator. But before we get into that, I'm going to bring on Lego Operator from Pennsylvania. He had some interesting shit happen to him today. And I'm going to go ahead and bring him on. Lego, how's it going?
It's going.
So what the fuck happened today?
Today at about 9 o'clock in the morning, I walked into work, literally wearing exactly what I'm wearing. I'm just a cashier, woo. But walked into a plaza with a shopping mall that includes a Supercenter shopping mall, a Dollar Tree store, a Dollar General, and a couple of other urgent care clinics. And there were police officers, or what we thought at the time were police officers, stationed all about the plaza.
Interesting. What were they? So you had these cops all over the plaza. What the fuck were they doing?
They were stopping people from going into the stores, making sure that they were wearing a mask, a face shield, and making sure that they kept their 6 feet distance from other people. Keeping in mind that Pennsylvania does not currently have any emergency declaration going on, anything like that. Nothing in the ordinance, nothing that suggests that that kind of thing was possible. And then the plot thickens. Because
I was going to ask, because Pennsylvania doesn't have any mask mandates right now. They're mask free, right. Correct? Right.
So what ended up happening was these 6, 7, 8 gentlemen were in the plaza going store to store on like a rotating patrol, making sure everybody was wearing masks. But me being in that area for a long time, me living there for 12 years, I know what our cops look like, our sheriffs look like, our state police look like, and none of these agencies had any vehicles in the lot. None of these agencies had any of their officers in the lot. They looked like constables, but they didn't have the right badge. So I got very concerned because they had full garb, handgun, taser, pepper spray, full utility belt, everything like that. But they were not police officers. It turns out that whenever I contacted the agency that manages the plaza, they told me that they hired a security company to keep order and enforce a mask mandate, but they weren't playing it off as a mandate or anything like that. They were just flagrantly being douches in this parking lot and causing a big stir. So it turns out that there's a company called Police A1. It is a company in Gibsonia, Pennsylvania, and they do retail security and things like that. The plaza contacted them and said, hey, can you, keep order here while making sure that people are keeping their masks on? And instead of sending out plainclothes people to do this task, they sent out fucking armed dudes, goons, in a police outfit, police on their back and everything like that, but they're not a police agency at all.
Wear your fucking mask!
Wear your mask! Kicker is that they were going to arrest you if you didn't.
And that's the funny thing, is if they're security guards, they have about as much powers of arrest as the three of us in this room.
Yeah.
And I welcome Trent Banshee Ortner into the chat here into the panel to give his 2 cents on this little debacle.
I don't even know what to say.
Yeah.
This shit has nuts in it. Like what? So they hired the security company to just kind of patrol and friendly remind people like, hey, while on our private property, we would like you to wear masks, which they can do. It's their private it's their private property. I respect property rights. It's, hey, you want me to wear a mask? I won't shop at your facilities. That's fine. But, that's your right to do so. But these guys went ape shit nuts and fucking put a like, I'm gonna arrest you if you don't wear a mask.
I'm going to arrest you if you don't wear a mask. But it gets even funnier because when I arrived at 9 and got told by this, at first I thought it was, an agency like, another township over brought in, reserve units or something. And then I realized, wait a minute. He went out on break and he was not in a patrol car or anything like that. He just went out to like Pontiac Grand Am. I'm like, oh, these aren't cops at all. This is some kind of rogue security company. And I was pissed. I was about ready to raise hell and everything like that, but I was stuck behind a cash register all day, so I couldn't.
Maybe it's a standard issue.
Did you see
Grand Am?
Standard issue
for undercovers.
But after I got off of work, they got kicked out of the plaza by the sheriff's department and by the borough police at 1 p.m. today.
So the real cops showed up.
So the real cops showed up, and they were very upset. Kicked them off of the premises and had the county sheriff sit on the outside of the parking lot to make sure that they left and they didn't stay there. And I can only assume that the phone calls between the managers of this plaza and the people that be were not very fun. Well, I called them after my shift, and they explained to me that they did not intend for a security company to react like they did. They did not have any anticipation that the security company was going to do that. And this security company just showed up and went ham in the first place.
How did they not get arrested?
That's what I'm wondering. There must have been some kind of crazy miscommunication. Now, they had the word police on their backs. That is definitely illegal here in Pennsylvania.
Oh, yeah.
I used to work in security. I used to work for Securitas.
As did I. I worked in security as well. I got fired from Securitas before I even got hired. But I worked for other security companies. Yeah, and I actually looked into starting my own security company. There's very strict rules on how your uniforms work, your patches, your badges. Like, they have they cannot be anything similar to any law enforcement agency in the state you work in.
Exactly.
Like you cannot have, and you can't have police in the name. You can't be called like sheriff security, deputy security. You can't have any of that in the fucking name at all. Which makes me wonder if these guys had a valid, like, I don't know what they call it in PA, but in California it's called a PPO, a private patrol operator's license. I wonder if they even had a valid PPO.
Based on where they're headquartered, I would say no. I'm still doing research on this company that apparently has enough resources to send armed goons out and scare the fuck out of a community like that. Because that's what I thought was going on. Is I thought the police were like cracking down, and my manager is very anti-mask, doesn't want to wear a mask, and she stood in the she stood in the office all day.
I identify as a goon, so don't be. Hey, no, I'm kidding. But no, that's gotta be really fucking scary for like you're just going to. It's like, hey, I'm just gonna go to Dollar General, get some fish sticks, some candy, and a gallon of milk, and all of a sudden now I'm getting fucking accosted by some guy threatening to arrest me because I'm not wearing a mask that I don't have to fucking wear.
Here's the weird thing. So the plaza,
what is this, Canada?
Yeah, what is this, Canada? So the plaza is divided into all these buildings and everything like that. They were patrolling the plaza. Immediately adjacent to the plaza, a strip of land that is maybe 2 feet long, 2 feet wide by 21 feet tall, divides a parking lot that goes immediately up to a Dollar General. That Dollar General was not once visited by those officers.
Right, because most anchor stores, I used to work at a mall. The anchor stores actually own the property around in the anchor store, so they can't patrol. They can't basically step foot in front of that store unless they have permission from Dollar General or whoever that company is that owns that store.
Mm-hmm.
So
the whole situation throughout the day was, intense. I was sitting, behind the desk. I didn't wear like a fabric mask. I wore one of those face shields because I didn't feel like getting into a tussle with a security guard, who at the time I thought was a cop. And then while I was on my 10-minute break and I was watching what they were doing, I'm like, they don't look like any officer from this area. None. And I put the pieces together, and I just started staring up their uniform. And I'm like, these guys don't look like cops at all. You know, their equipment, their vest was definitely a police issue vest. I have a similar one across the room. So you can get those.
They're
But the rest of
porkish, but I don't. They're porkish, but I don't smell full bacon.
Yeah, they're porkish, but I don't smell bacon. Because the rest of their uniform just didn't match. I'm like, okay, something's definitely up. These aren't cops. And then whenever I was inside and ringing up the cash register, I could hear Chief yelling at like apparently the head guy there. I'm like, oh, you're in trouble. Beep, beep. And then you'd hear.
I wish you got video.
Oh my God, I wish I got video. I need to like
That would
start
be-
wearing like a little pen camera.
You need yeah, seriously. Like, you know what? And I tell this to everybody who works in retail, because of all my friends, like my wife works in retail. Everybody works in retail. I'm just like, dude, body cams. Just start wearing body cams, because the footage, the shit you guys see and experience, I mean, you are grossly underpaid for the amount of bullshit you guys have to go through. But oh my God, the stories are fucking priceless.
The stories are priceless. And what is especially interesting today is we were so dead because of this entire situation going on that we only sold $200 worth of merchandise. Now, $200 worth of merchandise in a dollar store is a lot. But considering that yesterday we cleared over, I think, $3,000 in merchandise sold, and I only stocked about a quarter of an aisle. Today I had maybe 45 minutes of downtime, had the entire aisle stocked, and only sold $200 worth of goods during my shift.
Holy shit.
So we were dead. There were just points where we did nothing.
I'm not about suing people, but god damn, I hope your corporate fucking sues the security company for lost revenue. Like, that would just icing on the, like, if you're gonna pretend to be cops, like, fuck you. And God, you know, like, it's not Halloween. If you want to dress up as a cop for Halloween, dress up as a cop for Halloween. I don't give a shit. But to just let's be cops for a day, like, come on.
We have an empty unit in that plaza that every year it turns into a spirit of Halloween.
Fuck yeah.
But the thing that wraps around in my head is how the hell can they get away with putting police on their back and walking around with basically a replica constable badge? And the only reason I knew it wasn't a constable badge is because it was a silverish color. And the constable badges here in the Commonwealth are gold or gold ray.
Was constable misspelled?
I didn't get close enough to see what was on their badge. Hell, if I would have gotten close.
Well, it says like constipated.
Yes, it just says constipated, full of shit.
Hey, it explains it would explain their demeanor.
Yeah. Didn't see any other firearm except for their handguns. Saw the tasers, saw the pepper spray, the two sets of handcuffs, and pretty much whatever else is on a police belt, and went, all right, that's not sitting on a regular size belt, because you know how on a regular size belt everything is upright.
Was it sideways?
Yeah, it was like leaning over.
It had the gangsta lean.
Yeah, it had the lean on it. And I'm like, all right, so that's not a well-fit belt. It's not tall enough. I used to study this shit all the time. You know,
you got to look pro, man. If you're gonna do security, you got to look pro, man. I made sure I had one of those nice polished duty belts. I made sure my shit was polished, and all my holders and everything. My belt holders were fucking perfectly spaced. All my shit was in a row. I even put shit away because I got I'm a fatty, so all my my shit was moved away from the side so I could sit and not like undo all my fucking holder, my pouches and shit. Like you gotta look pro, man. If you're gonna look sloppy, nobody's gonna take you fucking seriously.
Yeah, nobody's gonna take you.
I also wasn't a dick.
You're right. There's the big part.
I was there to like conversation. I was working retail security, so it's like I want you to shop. I want you to spend money. So I'm going to be nice to you and be like, hey, do you mind? Could you please? Unless and then I take you in the back hallway and beat the shit out of you. But that's out of
the public eye. We'll take you into the stock room.
Exactly. But I mean, if I'm going to some shopping center and some fucking rent-a-cop piece of shit was trying to tell me you need to wear a mask, I'd be like, fuck you.
Yeah. But I
and then if you try to put hands on me, oh, really? Fuck you.
Yeah. I did get a hold of a representative from the company that manages the plaza. They said they did not intend for the security company to send them out what they sent. They did not intend to create a scare in the community or any of those things like that. It's one of those situations where the contractor fucked up and the plaza has to take the PR nightmare. And they're in this side of the state, there are these stores. They're called Giant Eagle stores. They're much like a Walmart or a Kroger or a Meijer. And they're very, very famous for being the first people to institute, a policy like masks or social distancing, and the last people to stop said policy. And today they announced that the other day they announced that by Friday there would be, mask mandates at their stores. And I'm like, yeah, well, I'm just going to get my shit at Dollar Tree because it's $1. Right. And we didn't even have our signs up on our door yet. And we have these cops here. And I'm like, oh, man, did they fuck this shit up.
See,
then I learned it's the other contract.
See, and that's the thing about the mask mandate. That's the thing about stores. And like, if you don't have a state mandate, you don't have to wear a mask. But if stores want to implement one, they can. However, we as the consumers have the ultimate power here. Mm-hmm. If we as consumers all decide, fuck no, we're not going to wear a mask in your fucking store, we don't shop at those stores will lose money, which means those stores will change their stance on wearing masks.
Yeah, they'll lessen, they'll
be like, wait, we're losing hella money. Everybody's going to Target's not making them wear masks, and everybody's shopping at Target. Oh, wait, fucking Kroger's not making them wear masks. Everybody's shopping at Kroger. Oh, wait, this store, that store. Like, if stores... they'll all change their fucking tune on it until the fucking government steps in. Like, you have to wear a mask, which in case then we all go down to the government and be like, fuck you, we're not wearing masks because we all read the Fauci emails that said masks are bullshit.
Right.
I mean, I can tell you masks are bullshit. I've taken hazmat course. I'm certified in hazmat. Mm-hmm. Yeah, the micron of a paper mask or a cloth mask with a virus, you're trying to use a sewer grate to catch a pea. It's not going to work. It's going to go right through it. It doesn't work.
Use one of these things.
Yeah, one of those would do it. But then you have to get respiratory testing every fucking month to make sure you're not giving yourself fucking respiratory issues and reduced lung capacity.
Right. Yeah, that kind of mask would be something that works. And obviously, with one of those kinds of masks,
I have a mask that's made by it's a K&N filter mask because I want that extra 10 horsepower. But I mean, it's made out of t-shirt material.
Yeah. And this guy right here, it has the activated. I think this is what activated.
Oh my god! My vape just went right through my fucking shirt.
Yeah.
It doesn't do shit. Now I vape and hit it through that. You ain't gonna see it. It might go out the exhaust vent on yours though. Yeah, it goes out the exhaust vent.
That's pretty fucking cool, actually.
It looks fucking tight. I like the way that looks. That looks sick. But anyways, we're getting off topic. So the mall backpedaled on this. Like, no, we didn't hire them to be the mass Gestapo.
Yeah, they backpedaled, and I actually got a thing from their representative. They said, and I will assure you that you will not see those same gentlemen in that plaza tomorrow, or any gentleman. Period.
Power to the people. Fuck yeah.
Because hell, everybody just short of the news showed up. So I doubt this is going to get any news coverage. If anything, it's going to be covered in the local papers. And, because of a scare like this, they don't want the big Pittsburgh paper to come down here and talk about it. They don't want the Pittsburgh stations to talk about it.
Oh, hell no. They don't want the bad press.
Yeah, so
because people are so anti-mask right now. If they do, they're going to lose a lot of business, and they're probably going to get a bunch of anti-maskers showing up and picketing in front of their store, in front of their plaza, which they really don't want.
The mayor of this city actually said that if those gentlemen show up tomorrow in any capacity, or if any similar group of people shows up tomorrow, he will personally bring everybody he can get together and picket in front of that store.
Fuck yeah, that's awesome.
And then that's going to leave me to be inside of a Dollar Tree getting bored and being like, man, I want to be out there doing that shit. I'm stuck here until 1 or 2. I want to get 10 in the morning and have fucking eggs from, the diner up the road come by and be like, this is fucking awesome. These people are fucking here.
All right. Well, I'm going to bring on Sam. She is new, first time ever being on the show, first time on a panel.
Hello, Sam. Have to go and pick up my brother real quick.
You go do that, and we'll put you back on when you come back.
Yeah.
Hey, guys.
Hey, Sam.
That was
What's
quite
up,
hilarious.
Sam? Oh, thank you. So I guess now let's go to the main. So now that we've talked about that breaking story, let's get to the meat and potatoes of tonight's episode, Jeinay and the RCLP Conundrum.
Yep.
So, all right. So I'm going to go ahead, since I'm the one that I broke this on Twitter and Facebook. I'm going to go. Now, I've never used on StreamYard, I've never used the share screen before. So I'm going to bear with me. I've made sure I have no inappropriate windows open on my computer. Make sure everything's closed. Okay, browser history's clear. Nothing with midgets. We're good. Okay, so little people. All right. So a few months ago, so we're gonna. How do I explain this? Let's go ahead and go back. Let's backtrack here to the very beginning of the RCLP. Originally, it was approached while in Hibiscus Society by Jeinay and Trent. They wanted to start a political action committee. They wanted to get into politics and help, inspire new voters, and support local elections and get into politics, and try to affect community change that route. Try to change the system from within. Good thing, it's a good cause. Now Hibiscus Society as an organization, we voted and we decided, no, we're going to stay out of the politics. So as an organization, Hibiscus Society bowed out, but we said, hey, if members want to join in and participate, hey, we're all free men and women here. We can do, have at it, do what you want. So Jeinay and Trent created RCLP. And then I had nothing really to do with it. I stayed out of it. So Trent, you can actually, if you want to go ahead and
so
fill us in on that part of it.
So yeah, it started in Keybase last November, I believe, and we just it was just a chat group at first. Nothing crazy, just started bringing in people that were libertarian minded or had any kind of thoughts of wanting to affect change politically and get away from just the protests and start bringing in single issue initiatives and start pushing for those. And then last February, last January, the FBI came and knocked on my door right before J17. And so from that point, I decided to step away from leading Hibiscus Society, and I gave it to Ben. And Jeinay and I sort of solely worked on political legitimized means. We put forth months of work. I built a website, started building a Twitter, started doing all that stuff. And then one day she texted me and said that, because I wrote the bylaws, it said that she wanted to change the bylaws because she wanted to prevent people from being forced out, because she said organizations like this have their founders pushed out. And I was like, well, I guess we could ask for some more legal aid, let's go that route about it. And then from there, I gave her the ownership of the Discord group so she could make changes, and that she was going to give it right back. I didn't expect what was to come. And then from there, the next day I was getting pictures taken with my daughter, or she was getting her Easter pictures taken. And then I noticed a notification on my phone that the FEC filing was changing. And I was like, what the hell? And then I texted her, nothing, waited a little bit longer, texted her again. And then just spent, the next few hours trying to get in contact with her, and she wouldn't answer my phone calls or text or anything as to what was happening. And from there, I was deleted from Facebook. She kept the Discord group, and she kicked me out of the Keybase group. And I still to this day have no idea, no clue. I've tried to contact her and ask her why, what was going on. I've heard stories that she said that I left and that I started a splinter group, which isn't true at all. After I saw the FEC filing, and she completely ghosted me, and we had no contact. We still haven't had contact since March. I've asked a couple times to see if she wanted to squash it. She doesn't respond. And so I filed for the Redacted Caucus Liberty Movement. And I had already had people that I was going to come work with me that were with me in the Hibiscus Society, and some other people that were going to jump on. And so we created our board and our committee and got our foundation started and got everything set in place before we started taking donations. We still we just are going to get to a point where we're going to take donations for the PAC. But from there, you know, I've been badmouthed. I've had 3 shows cancel on us because she has either asked other people to talk shit about me, or she has personally. And it, from what I've been hearing, is that there's nothing but roadblocks, and LP members don't want to get involved, or they are listening to one side of the story. And you know, it was just a real shitty thing to do to somebody I considered a really good friend of mine, and I still haven't had any rhyme or reason why. And that gets to the point to where we started wondering about all these donations that she was taking in, and the oversight and transparency that was regarded with them, and she wouldn't provide it to anybody. And then from there, I'll let you guys go into your part of it.
Okay. So after all that happened, I decided, like, okay, you know what? I'm gonna help. I'm friends with Trent. I'm gonna help him out with Redacted Caucus of the Liberty Movement, Redacted, which we could just call Redacted Caucus. And so I joined the board, and I started helping out. I was approached by Jeinay to join her board, which at the time I was like, hey, you know what? It would be, I'm already on this board. It would be a conflict of interest for me to be on your board, so I declined. As I was, as we were going through, I noticed she had not done her quarterly filing for her donations. And I knew she had been collecting donations since about, I want to say May, because that's when Hibiscus Society, she started posting ads on the Hibiscus Society Facebook page for like membership. Hey, sign up for membership and you can get a metal business card, says founding member, patches, stickers, whole bunch of swag. I'm like, all right, okay, so she's getting donations. That's cool. Awesome. I noticed she hadn't filed. So then I posted on Twitter, hey, how come you haven't filed? You're getting all these donations. How come you haven't filed yet? You need to file that. You're not, it's listed under the FEC that you're not even an official PAC. You can't, you're not, you need to file. Which then, I believe, Sam, you're part of the Michigan group. You guys saw that?
Yeah, so we went to the Libertarian Convention in Michigan, and we went there with like the sole purpose of joining Jeinay's group, and we heard great things about it. It looked very professionally set up. Everything looked like she had her, I's dotted, T's crossed, all that good stuff. And at the convention, it was going pretty good. It reached a certain point though, where like we had to get going in the night, and it was late Saturday night, and we asked her to like come talk to us because we had some questions. Because before you start anything like this with somebody, like opening up a chapter out of like, from national to state, you really want to make sure that you A, know them, and B, they know what they're doing, because this can get messy quick. So we just like kind of asked, like, because we knew about Trent's group, the Redacted Caucus. And so we just kind of asked like backstory, like, what is the difference between you two? And she went into the story with her and Trent that they started this together. She said that Trent did a ton of work, that he was basically the one that was writing everything, doing like the websites and all this kinds of stuff. But they had a personal falling out. And so she separated ways with him, and she did not talk very nicely about him, which always like kind of throws a red flag, because this is politics. It shouldn't be personal feelings and stuff like that. If you have ideological differences, that's one thing, but to get it so personal and the way she was talking about it was just a little red flaggy to us. And then we started asking her, like, all right, you got a board? Do you have bylaws? Do you have like, have you filed with that? All these things that you need to be doing. And she had nothing. And I was like, how can you be a national caucus and be getting membership donations and things like this without having all of these, like the work you need to do before that? She was getting a little defensive throughout the whole talk. We tried our best to like just be like, we just want to understand so we can keep going forward. And then we got to talk about finances. And I asked if like we could see the donations, if we could see where the money is going to and all that kind of stuff. And she got really snippy with me. And she actually told me that it's people like me that cause problems because we want transparency. And that's when I immediately was like, all right, we can't, this isn't going to work out between us. But we kept talking. And she basically said you can see it when it comes out in whenever the quarterly filings, that we can see it then, but until then we cannot see it. We can't see any sort of bank statements or anything like that. She continued to then talk personal feelings about different people within the different caucuses, both her own and Trent's. And
to make a note, all this happened before Sam and I have ever spoken.
Oh yeah, no, we had no contact with Trent or the Redacted Caucus at all before we met Jeinay, because we heard such great things about Jeinay and we were kind of believing this whole picture that was painted, right? So we ended the meeting on good terms. We thanked her for her time. We said that we understood. We got to talk amongst ourselves before Michigan was going to fully join in. And we left that night. Sunday still was another day of the convention, and we get there Sunday morning and the table's not set up and Jeinay is nowhere to be found. She's not answering any phone calls. She's not answering any text messages. And the only person that she ended up reaching out to that day was Spike Cohen. And that was it. She did not say anything to any of us. She took all of the merchandise that we thought, if we were going to be with Michigan, she made it seem like some of that money, if once we get set up, was going to go to us. And we were seeing her spend money in a very peculiar way that weekend, making comments of don't tell anybody I'm spending this money kind of thing. And it just felt so off. And so when she didn't show up on Sunday, that was the nail in the coffin of there is something wrong here, because you don't just ghost like that when you end on good terms. It took a couple days before any of our people in Michigan were able to contact her, and she was just very nonchalant about it. And at that point is when we reached out. We asked if Trent and the Redacted Caucus would have a meeting with us just so we could ask the same kinds of questions. And I mean, I know that, we did start a Michigan chapter for the Redacted Caucus, but it's only because your whole team, Trent and everybody at national level, has been nothing but transparent and helpful, actual help. You guys have everything laid out so we could just pick it up and run with it. You had bylaws that we were basically able just to tweak in a few spots, and an actual roadmap for Michigan to go forward. So none of it felt right. I don't understand what the problem is with transparency, especially with money, especially with what we are. And money has gone missing, right, before in movements that we've all been a part of. So it's something that's a big concern for us. And I don't want to see anybody that I care about deeply get screwed over again by people that just want to make some money and live a lavish lifestyle off of it.
Right. And that is true. That has happened in the movement. People have, asked for donations to start nonprofits. People have asked for donations to start this and that, and then money disappears, and it puts a sour taste in people's mouths. And so after all this, she did eventually file.
Mm-hmm.
So
She did eventually
file. And then I pulled that filing. Now, on the FEC website, there's two different buttons you press. There's process data and raw data. Now, I pulled raw data. Now, I'm going to try. Now, I pulled the raw data, and that is the filing and the receipts. I'm going to try to use this share thing. I hope it shows up. I'm going to give it a shot. Share screen. And window. Okay, so here is share. Okay, so what we're looking at right here, this is the detailed summary page. Now, I'm not going to show the cover page. I'm not going to dox anyone. It's got her address and all that. I'm not going to show that because I don't. So according to this, she collected $2,760 in donations. Of that, it says here total operating expenditures was $23,1899. All right, so we got $23,1899 in total expenditures. Now, I hope everybody saw that. Now, here's the receipts. And of those, now only 5 transactions showed up on the receipts. And that totaled $1496.94. Right down here at the bottom, $1496.94. That is an $822.05 difference compared to that first page I showed you. $822.05 not accounted for in the receipts. So I posted this on Twitter. I posted this on Facebook. Within a few hours, I got angry text messages from Jeinay. Those angry text messages were, I don't know what I'm talking about. I'm a liar. Don't talk about things I don't know about. The FEC doesn't show receipts under $200. Well, that's a lie because there's receipts on there for $100, which then she changed to, they don't show things under $100. So I'm like, you mean to tell me that you have $822 in small receipts? Well, I have more than that. Okay, wait, okay, hold on. Wait, and then she sent me a screenshot of her computer with her FEC software with what she claims to be her actual filing. Which I'm going to show that right. I'm going to share that right window. This is not easy. It's just, they say I use 2 screens when you're using this thing, and I understand why. Click. Okay, so all right, so here we go. So we've got so she listed all of these expenditures, right? Here's the problem. Can you guys, I don't know if they can see the calculator, but the calculator here, I added up all these expenditures. Notice some of them are duplicates. All of these expenditures total $24,82.44, which is more than $23,1899.
And there's 9.
$24,82.44.
According to this document, there's 9 totals that are over $100 versus the 4 that she.
The 5 that were on the receipts for the actual report. So in the FEC software, which I know how to use because I helped with the filing for the redacted caucus, you can actually open an old report and you can add things to it. Now you cannot save it and you cannot submit it, but you can add things to it, which is why the transaction numbers. Notice most of these are sequential, and then the numbers get all fucking weird. They go from 41s to 42s, like they go all weird.
And the validation tab is still open.
And the validation tab is open, correct?
Yeah.
This is doctored to cover that up. Now, here's the other thing I want. Here's another thing I want to bring up. She did not start advertising for donations until around May. So here's the question here's the question to ask. On 4/13 with Master Digitizer, $772. How the fuck do you pay $772 with donations when you haven't collected donations yet?
Yep.
On 4/14, My Metal Business Card, $199. How the hell do you pay $199 with donations you haven't collected yet? 3/11, $179.15. How the fuck do you pay for those when you don't have donations yet? And then there's these 2 Squarespace websites, which, Trent, weren't those on your credit card?
Yep.
How are those paid for with donations when they're on your credit card?
No idea.
Now, Sticker Mule, that's on 5/11. she started at the beginning of the month. There's a possibility she could have gotten 100 and well, at this point, looking at this is about $300 worth of donations. She could have gotten $300 in donations to pay for these sticker mules. I highly doubt it.
But
USPS 6345 414 paid for with donations. How'd you pay for donations when you didn't have donations yet? Vistaprint 420 3270. How'd you pay for that with donations when you haven't collected donations yet? And then there's this $20 that is no name, no description. Same thing with the flags. I mean, they were $5.12. They could have been paid for with donations, but $147.37. That money meant, 12 days into collecting donations, get $147 plus the other $300 for donations. So we're talking $450 in donations in 12 days. It doesn't add up.
no.
It doesn't add up. And that's what is now. Now none of some of these showed up as on the 5 receipts. So
Just another thing that I'd want to add to that is just the history, going back and learning how it happened to Trent, that he just got ghosted on, no explanation, nothing. And the story she gave us was quite different. And then her doing that to us in Michigan, those kinds of patterns are very concerning, especially in the political realm. Like I said, personal feelings shouldn't be involved. It should be professional. And I have personally nothing against her except for this funding kind of stuff, because now you're affecting people that I care about. And I don't want anybody I care about's money to be just misused. But that behavior is something I hope people will kind of see that there's a pattern there. And if you challenge her in a way that she doesn't want you to challenge her, or a question she doesn't want to necessarily ask, she just refuses to answer and refuses to talk to you. And that's not how this runs.
Oh yeah, no. Since I've posted that on Twitter and called out the discrepancy, RCLP has blocked me on Twitter. Jeinay's personal Twitter has blocked and basically limited posts. She's following me so she can see what I post, but I can't see anything she posts. She was constantly texting me until I finally told her, basically in a very polite way, fuck off. I texted her back saying, I'm going to enjoy the rest of my day. Have a good one. And she hasn't texted me since. I know of other people who have messaged me who have tried to talk to her about it, and which they get crickets, or they have been blocked on Twitter or Facebook. She's circling the wagons and blocking people out. And the thing about it is that if I was in her situation, if I was being accused of misappropriating funds, and I know I didn't do anything wrong, I'd release my bank statements. I would just be like, okay, you want to know where you want to know where your money went? Here's March, here's April, here's May, here's June, here's July. Here's my bank. I'll, redact the bank account number because nobody needs to know what my bank account number is. But I would just be like, I would post it right on the fucking interweb. Be like, here you go. Here's my bank statements. This is what I've spent. This is all the deposits. Here's all the withdrawals. No malfeasance. I'm clear. And that'd be the end of it. If she did that, I would publicly apologize and drop the whole fucking matter. But the fact that she is dodging everyone is suspicious as fuck.
It's weird.
Which is why, so I mean, I'm not, I have no person but the shit between Jeinay and Trent and the separation, I have no fucking stake in. That's between them two. I don't care. I have no stake in that. That's between them. But potentially defrauding people from the movement and taking their money and using it for things other than movement business, that I take personal. That I will not stand for. I will not tolerate that, and I will expect accountability and justice for those actions.
An innocent person doesn't just block people and try to, hide the
and
truth.
just, act like a 5-year-old. But they're lying. They're lying. They're lying. No, we're not. There's the proof. Black and white. I mean, shit. I mean, black and white, paper proof that something isn't right.
What's that, Sam?
Can we bring up who she has as her treasurer? Can I talk about that?
Oh, it's her.
Yeah.
Because I thought I read that it might have been her daughter.
It was.
No, it was.
Yeah.
It was. She changed it. I certify that I've reported and demolished the belief is true and complete. I print name of treasurer, Jeinay LeBlanc.
Oh, okay. Just because I didn't know if you changed it back to her, because I was just going to say, like, if the FEC finds fraudulent activities, they go after the treasurer. And if you're going to list your daughter as the treasurer, like what kind of, now I am getting a little personal, but what kind of mom puts her daughter in that position?
Well,
and maybe that's a little wrong of me, but.
Technically under FEC rules, you can't have a family member as treasurer. So she removed her and made her herself. So she's the president. She's the treasurer. She is the, as far as I can tell, she is the controlling body of the RCLP. So she is completely responsible for everything.
When we asked her about, does she have a board? You know what I mean? Like, that's a very basic question, right? And she got very angry and she was like, well, no, not yet, because I'm just, so busy and I'm just, have so much going on with my life. And she then started being like, I want to be very careful who I bring into my board, though, because, I only want it to be people that are going to, work with me and do the things that I kind of want to do, which this isn't your personal, like, I don't know. It just rubbed me the wrong way. Personally, it rubbed me the wrong way.
It is. I mean, look, I'm not going to get into any kind of like personal anything on this. I'm just, it's very odd.
Yeah.
And an organization is supposed to be built of people, and is only as strong as the people who help operate it. If you bring in a bunch of, if you want a board that's just a bunch of yes men that are just gonna agree with you, then you're gonna be weak as fuck.
Yeah, but
you're not gonna accomplish anything.
Yeah. On the other hand, yeah, you can absolutely do that. There's nothing wrong with that.
Nothing wrong with that. You're just not gonna accomplish anything. You're just gonna be in an echo chamber.
Uh-huh.
I disagree. Our board disagrees all the fucking time. And we have debates and we discuss things. It makes us stronger and it helps us see other people's points of views, and that makes us stronger. So, that's been true with Hibiscus Society. That's been true with Redacted Caucus. That's been true. That's just how the more diverse your thought pool is, the stronger you are. So that's as deep as I'm going to go into it with that. But the fact of the matter is, there's the proof. Proof's in the pudding. I showed you guys what was sent to me by her. I showed all the viewers and anybody who watched it live, anybody who watches the video after. I showed you the documentation. I showed you the screenshot. I showed you the calculator. Draw your own conclusions.
The biggest thing that I think all of us would ask is don't believe us. Don't just believe what we're telling you. Ask questions. Ask her and see how she reacts. That's been the whole thing that we have expected of people since we started talking about this FEC thing. Is we've told them to ask questions, and the second that they ask questions, they get blocked and they get pushed away.
Which, I've come to you guys as a state chapter and or some of my guys have asked you guys some pretty difficult questions, and not once has that been the response of like ghosting us or just, not answering them, even if they've been hard questions that maybe you guys haven't figured out quite yet, but you were willing to work and figure it all out as a group. And
no, you guys have asked us really hard questions where we've had to actually be like, hey, hold on, before we answer that, let us discuss it with the others. But we came back with an answer.
Yep.
Because it's all about transparency, and it's all about being honest. And because when it comes down to it, we all need to work together. If we're going to make change, we have to work together to make change. And and that's part of being in an organization. You have to work together. And and also the other half, on the other half of this is, to anyone watching this, before you donate money to anything, be it a nonprofit, a charity, a fucking, I don't care what the fuck it is, do your research. Google it, research it, look at, because there's so much shit out there on public records that you can find. What do they spend? When if you give $100 to something, how much goes to admin cost? How much goes to the actual cause?
Yeah,
you can find that out very easily. And if most of that money is going to pay for administration, there's a problem. If most of the money is going to the actual cause, then that's something right.
And if you ever want to donate to us, 100% of everything you donate goes to something within the caucus. Not a single one of us take payment. None of us pay them ourselves back after giving up money. Everything goes to the movement. Every single penny.
Yeah. I mean, and that's the way it should be. Because this is all voluntary. We're giving our time. Michigan's giving their time, their efforts. They're doing their. I mean, I've seen your guys' posts with Tim and guys going out there and helping with the flood cleanup, and then helping all your guys' community outreach is absolutely fucking amazing. Like you guys amaze me.
Yep. 100%.
And are doing great things to help your communities, and I applaud you guys for that. And that's definitely something that needs to be supported. And that's I mean, ultimately, that's what this is. Like, nobody should be in this for personal gain or clout. I do this show to give out information, entertain people. I don't get paid. I don't care. I don't give two fucks. But I have fun. It's something I have fun doing. It's the same reason why I go to community actions. I want to help my community. I want to help my fellow brothers and sisters enact change to make their lives better. And I don't care if I don't care if my name ends up in the fucking paper. I'm not about that. I mean, shit. If somebody asks me a question, I'll answer it. If they don't, I don't give a fuck. I'm not in this for fucking fortune, fame, and clout.
Yeah.
Nobody is. Trent's not.
No.
Nobody is. So I mean, shit. If I wanted to be rich, I'd fucking develop this thing I invented in my head.
Right.
It's just you know what I'm saying? Like, there's some people that are in this for the wrong reasons, and there's some people that are in this for the right reasons. And I can tell you that. Oh, hey, Lego's back. Hi, Lego.
Hello again.
Like all the meat and potatoes.
My brother still isn't off of work. He gets off at 10:15.
Well, shit. Okay.
What were you gonna say, Sam?
I forgot.
I'm sorry. I talk too much.
No. Yes, you did.
I think it basically is just like, we're in this just to help. I mean, that's why everybody in Michigan does what they do. I mean, Michigan has a great group of people that are not I'm very proud of Michigan, and to be a part of that. Like, we're all in this just to help change the state of the country, because we're in a mess and we need to actually do some work and work together. Because the infighting, it needs to stop. The calling each other names and liars and stuff like that. Just be transparent, move on with your day, and do something meaningful. But I don't want anyone to get screwed out of money, and I don't want anyone to get caught up in something shady. So that's the reason why.
Hey, guy, I have to go. My daughter's getting ready to get here. So
Okay. All right.
talk
I'll
to
see you later,
guys
Trent. So, I mean, and that's all. And I've met, because I'm in Ohio. I used to be in Texas. Now I'm in Ohio. I've met Michigan folks. Did a thing in Mansfield, and then a bunch came to a thing in Columbus. And I love Michigan folks. Y'all are awesome. And I enjoy hanging out. I enjoy hanging out and doing stuff with y'all. So it's just it's I need to get to PA and hang out with Lego. It's just when you get the right people in the right place for the right reasons, you can't go wrong. The good shit always happens.
Yeah.
It's just when it's unfortunate. It's unfortunate when people taint the movement with selfish acts.
Mm-hmm.
And that's kind of where I'm at with this.
Yeah.
It's like I said, I have my own opinions. I have my own conclusions that I've drawn from the evidence I've gathered.
Yeah.
Other people are free to draw their own conclusions. Tell me I'm wrong. Come, say, oh, you know what? I don't believe you. That's fine. We're free men and women to make our own. You want to continue to throw money at them? Be my guest. I will not. Will I work with them until there's proof they didn't do anything wrong? Fuck no.
And like you said earlier, if that proof comes out that there's nothing there and we are wrong, like I will apologize, and I have no problem doing that. Like
I will offer to bring her on this show, and I will put it on every fucking social media I can, and I will publicly apologize to her. Personally apologize if I was wrong, if I'm wrong about this.
Yeah. And I would just hope that if someone else was in my position, they would do the same thing just to get the warning out there or the word out there to make your own conclusions, ask your own questions, and see that that's what we're trying to do here. We're not trying to badmouth. We're just trying to have people ask questions.
Sorry. I was just sorry. Something popped up on my screen. That's all I'm asking. Open mind. Just look at it and go, you know what? And you can go. I mean, you don't even have to go off my screenshots. You can go to fec.gov, fec.gov. Go to the top right of the screen. There's a little search bar, and you just type in Redacted Caucus of the Libertarian Party. Click on that, go to filings, and you can pull the filing yourself. It's public record. Click raw data, and you can download the PDF and read it yourself and go, why doesn't this add up?
Yeah.
I mean, this is not, I mean, this is just, it's mind-boggling. It's, yes, I use an anchorman term. But some might say oh, it's, what's the big deal? It's just $800. I'm like, yeah, but if it was your $800, wouldn't you care?
And it's $800 now. Now, let's say she succeeds in doing what she's doing, which is kind of putting us out of the picture. Not really. We're still going strong, but that money can grow, and now it's $800, but in a year from now, it could be a lot more than that.
Now, and there was
a couple grand,
and there was something I did, and there was some things I left out of the discussion that just popped into my head that I probably should mention, because I was friends with her on Facebook in the time when all this was not being filed. She bought a new car and took a trip to Disneyland.
We saw her spending money at the convention in a way that seemed like money was not an issue to her. And then after, once we talked about money during the meeting, it got very like, well, don't tell anybody I spent this, because, she paid to have dinner with Spike Cohen. Quite a pricey amount. And it just.
Which is interesting, because the dinner for Spike Cohen, this dinner for Spike here coming up on the 20th, I believe, is only in Columbus here is only $60 for Friday night, Friday night dinner.
It was part of a during the convention.
Okay. So yeah, so it could be expensive. So, but you know what I'm just it's when you see things like that and then you see discrepancies, it makes you ask the question.
Yeah, it makes you think.
You know, why won't you show me the bank statement? If you bought this and this and this, why won't you show me the bank statement? Is it because you spent it on this and this and this? Or is it just because you wanted privacy? I understand privacy. I understand that. But when you're running an organization that's taking donations from the public, you owe it to the public to be transparent.
Yes.
That is like the first rule of fucking anything. I mean, if you run a legitimate nonprofit, you have to disclose your everything down to the cent of what you spend. And it has to be because you have to file all that stuff with the IRS to say, yes, we spent this on our nonprofit. You have to prove it. It's going to be the same thing with the FEC. And, you have to, there's things you have to file. I believe you even have to file taxes with the IRS to show I got this in donations. I spent this on my shit. If you used it for personal stuff, you're going to get in trouble.
Yeah.
So, because then that goes against your own personal. If you use caucus money for personal stuff, then you have to count that caucus money as personal income.
Yep.
So, yeah.
On FEC with these filings, are we talking about FEC, Federal Election Committee, or Federal Exchanges Commission?
Federal Election Committee.
Okay, because there are two FECs in this whole circle.
Yeah, this is the Federal Election Committee, but it's still the Federal Election Committee. Their website is fec.gov.
Okay, so they're the big fec.gov.
They're the big fec.gov. Here, I'll actually do. Let me do this. Here, give me a moment here. It helps if I spell it. Can then United Caucus of the Libertarian Party. Search. Do. Wrong button.
I do the same do.
Oh, you do it too? Nice. All
For some reason, whenever I do that, I do it like a drum cadence. I'll do it da 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 da.
Solid.
Show.
There it is.
That is their website to their FEC filing.
C007 69281.
Yep. And it pops up right up on the website, all there, the thing, and then you can click on it, download the PDF, and you can look for it. Look at it yourself. And it's in the chat, so you can copy and paste it into your web browser if you care to. If you don't want to, that's fine. Do as you wish. I'm just, I am just the messenger of information. So, that's pretty much all I got, man. It's a short show. It's only an hour long, but that's what
I'm not used to recording that short of shows. You remember?
I know. Usually these things go for like 90 minutes, unless you guys got something else you guys want to bring up and talk about. Any events or anything you guys want to plug?
I had a cop pull out in front of me on the way to my brother's workplace, but other than that, nothing.
Michigan's got an event on September 15th for caregivers. Don't know all the details of it, but I know at the Michigan's Twitter for the Redacted Caucus, there's all the details up there for what is going on with the caregivers. I know that they're trying to take away their rights to take care of their patients. So we're going to be at that supporting them. So if you're in Michigan, definitely come on down on the 15th. Come see us.
You're Redacted Caucus LMM, right?
Yes.
Oh, this thing's slow. I'm going to go ahead and... So we got that up there. That is your guys' Twitter, Redacted Caucus LMM. If you guys want to go ahead and check out that Twitter. And that'll have the details for that event, hopefully, right? And then Lego, you've actually got this whole thing set up with you got a whole thing called what? Untyranny, right? Like
Yeah.
video content and stuff. I've seen some of your videos. They're pretty sick, very awesome actually.
Yeah, I've got a little bit of content up on my website. It is untyranny.com, all one word. And there's a little bit of content on there from the Redacted Caucus as well. If you go onto the main webpage and you use the menu, there will be a little creators tab. You'll see a couple of my videos under there, and you'll see the Redacted Caucus. They have a profile up there too. It's kind of in the building stage. I'm still building the website right now. With all the crap going on at work and them wanting to make me assistant manager, I'm going to be spending less time at home and more time at the store.
Sounds like you need to occupy a computer in the back.
Man, if those computers could even boot half the time.
Oh, I know. Those things are probably circa 1994. They're probably running like XP.
They're running Windows Vista right now.
Oh, that's bad.
Yeah. It's not very secure either.
Oh,
I've also told my manager that, and they're like, oh, we know, corporate knows, they're working on patches and everything. And I'm like, patches? You're beyond the need for patches.
That
The
thing's
whole
probably held
OS
together
is
with duct
compromised.
tape and bird poop.
Yeah, the whole operating system is compromised. I'm surprised that I haven't had my card. Speaking of my card, I probably got paid within the last hour.
You like look in the back of it. You're like, what's all the rat droppings? Don't remove it. That's holding the case together.
Yeah, look at the back, and the cereal bus is just covered in duct tape. I'm like, oh, Lord.
My apartment that I had when I lived in Citrus Heights, it was held together with duct tape because my dog Ozzy, as a puppy, was the destroyer of cables. So he kept chewing through network cables. I don't know why. I guess he liked the voltage.
I had a dog that did that. The dog's name was Gabe, and the dog would sit there and nom on a wire for his leisure. And when he would get down to like the bare metal, he'd just go ahead and clump on it, and he'd just go and just ride the lightning there on the floor. I'm like, this dog is insane.
So, well, if that's all you guys got, man, I'm gonna go ahead and call this show a wrap. Lego operator Sam, Trent, if you're watching in cyberspace, thank you guys for coming on. It's been a good show. This has been Hibiscus Society News, shooting the shit. I'm Ben Donkey Punch Hawk.
I'm Lego
Stay
operator.
frosty.
Bye.
And that's Sam.